Hello and welcome to my latest video on my Redsea Reefer 170. I think it's been a while since I last done one, a good 3 or 4 weeks. But today I just thought I'd give a quick 10 or 15 minutes kind of going in depth really about what's in my sump. I've had a couple of people ask me, can I do a video about that. I was planning on doing one anyway, but since a couple of people have asked, I thought I'll do it sooner rather than later. I have mentioned in my last few videos what kind of goes on in my sump, what I've got, but I'm planning obviously showing you a bit more in depth, a bit closer look at some of the equipment, my opinion on some of the things that I use and some of the methods I do to keep the sump as clean as possible. Apologies if you don't see clearly what's in the sump. I don't have a light in the cabinet, it's something that I do want to put in, but you may well notice in the top right hand corner sitting on the reservoir containing my phone, which I'm hoping doesn't fall in, but obviously it's shining a bit of light in there. Plus it's quite a bright day, so hopefully we'll get a good enough view of what's going on in there. But before we zoom in on the sump, I'll just take you through the tank, how it's been doing the past few weeks. Really good. I've had no issues whatsoever since I introduced the Roefoss back into the reactor. The kind of like brownish diatom film I was getting on the sand has almost disappeared. It does come back if I don't do no maintenance after 4 or 5 days, but you know it's definitely slower growing, if anything. I suppose with the reef tank, no matter what method you kind of use filtration wise, I think you always get a little bit of algae. And I suppose a little bit of algae in some ways signs that you've got a healthy tank. Plus a bit of algae, a natural food source for some of the invertebrates and fish that you have in the tank. So I'm not too fussed. All I know is that it's slow growing, and like I said, I rake the sand every 3 or 4 days anyway, so it kind of gets rid of it. But I've noticed that since I've used the Roefoss back into the reactor, definitely not coming back as fast. So I know that the Roefoss is working in getting the PO4 levels down, which weren't high anyway. But like I said in a few videos ago, I discontinued with the Roefoss a few months ago and totally relied on the no-pox, but I found it wasn't really doing the business, to be honest. It was with the nitrates perfect, but with the phosphates it wasn't, and I was starting to see a little outbreak of hair algae, which at that point I decided to reintroduce the Roefoss, which again, as I've just mentioned, is working perfectly. But yeah, tank's doing really well. The Coral Beauty, which I added 3 weeks ago, is doing really well in the tank. It's eating everything that I throw in there. It's showing no aggression to the other fish. Yeah, some people may argue this tank's probably a little bit too small, and you know what, they might well be right, but you know, he's the last fish going in there. He's clearly the biggest one. There'll be no more fish going in, and if he does start going a lot bigger, I have a good relationship with my LFS anyway, who would have no problem rehoming him. But in the meantime, he's doing well in here, and I'm happy to keep him. He's doing a great job as well with the little bits of brown algae that do remain in the tank, so yeah, all good. Okay then, so let me just show you what's happening in the sump here. So yeah, Redsea Reefer 170 standard sump. I think it holds about, correct me if I'm wrong, about 30 litres, 35 litres, which is, you know, Redsea say is proportionally well sized to the size of the main display aquarium. So what am I using then? Okay, so let's start with the skimmer. Bull Magus C 3.5, costs about £90. Yeah, there are other skimmers that you can pay for a tank. You know, just skim a tank this size. You're looking at something that's going to, you know, litre wise between 200 to 300 litres. I believe in skimming, you know, having a skimmer the size of double your tank load. So yeah, this skimmer 200 to 300 litres, they say, adequate tank size. So yeah, again, perfect for my tank, just nearly touching 1.5 to twice the size of my tank. Skims really well. You adjust the little handle here, I don't know if you can see it. You adjust this here, and that'll let you set the kind of like where the bubbles sit in the neck. I find it in the middle there has it about right in terms of the skim not being too thick and not being too wet. Obviously, because I dose the no-pox, they say a wet skim, so I try and give it like a kind of bit of a middle ground there, because I find that if you do get a bit of a too wet skin, the cup fills up really quick. whereas if you have the level in the neck really low, it takes a long time to actually get any skim produced. But yeah, no problem with the skimmer. I think it's, in terms, if you're looking to get a skimmer in this range, you know, 90 to 150 pounds worth of skimmer, I think this one's the best on the market. Yeah, NIOS and TMC do skimmers for tanks this size, but you'll pay a lot more for them. Obviously, yeah, they'll probably skim a lot better, but honestly, Bubble Magus, really good skimmer. I've had no issues with it. Very easy to dial in, hasn't failed on me. Produces copious amounts of bubbles in the neck, which you can see. It runs quite quiet as well. There is a bit of a hissing sound. I'll try and be quiet and zoom in, see if you can hear what I mean. But it's kind of like it's where the pump sucks in the air. Not a problem when you've got the door closed on the tank, but you can hear it when it's silent in the room. Let me see if I can zoom in and you can hear it. So I'm not sure you can hear that. You kind of get used to it after a while, but it's not particularly loud. Like I said, it's just noticeable when the doors open on the cabinet and the room's fully silent. There's the skim, as you can see. Nice dry bubble there, not too wet, not too dry. And I'm cleaning out this skimmer about once a week, and I'm finding it's probably filling up half a cup, which is a lot really for a tank this size. So it's definitely getting out what it needs to do. So yeah, very happy with that. Okay, reactor again, Bubble Magus. This is a mini reactor 50. I think it is. I think that's what they call them. Or is it mini reactor 70? Can't quite remember. Paid about £50 for it a couple of years ago. I hate it, to be honest. Worst buy. Wish I never bought it. Number of reasons really. One, I use it for Rofoss. Absolute nightmare. Because obviously Rofoss needs to tumble. Because you can't control the flow rate on this reactor, it just blows everywhere. I've tried